And then you could look at what JFK was doing, which was an ancient tactic of sound currency through way of precious metal, and in this case, silver notes. He gave competing currency to the American people. So these silver notes he was reissuing and giving the Federal Reserve bankers, who had the other form of currency, a run for their money, pun intended. But you understand what I'm talking about here? So a competing currency was a mortal sin to the people that own the presses, the copyright of the magic money, okay? This was a big no-no because they also know what I'm trying to impart to you to understand, how this would solve all the problems and set the captives free, so to speak. So in other words, it would be a rising tide of prosperity would occur that would lift all ships, where labor was honored for being valuable, instead of a system you live in where all you hear from the media and how great and how important education is and all this crap. And it's, to me, it's such a lie from the pit of hell. I say, wait a minute. Suppose everybody on earth had a PhD in their chosen field of interest. Does this in any way negate the fact that we need simple workers out there? Common, often uneducated workers, clerks, farm workers, home builders, the carpenters. I could go on all day, the truck drivers, of people that are doing mundane jobs that are critical to society continuing to work. These people, these simple, uneducated people, could literally shut the wheels of society down tomorrow, okay? Literally. If the truck driver stopped trucking, the train driver stopped driving, the carpenter stopped building your houses, the farm workers stopped picking your food, the clerks stopped taking care of the food and offering it to you at their warehouses, the supermarkets, whatever. Okay, you get the point how made up, invented this reality is. So if you're really educated, you're going to learn these simple truths. You're going to learn that the reason the problems persist, these solvable problems, is because it benefits these wicked rulers at the very top. And what they need to maintain is a critical mass of people that are in positions that can influence, continually deceive the people, keep them confused and stupid, that think that they're knowledgeable and wise, and so they, it becomes a thing of ego and vanity and conceit, that these little insiders like the mainstream media, they're always telling us how great it is that housing prices are going up, never mentioning how this hurts the poor, the working class, how it dashes their hopes of ever having a sense of prosperity through home ownership. This has always been the best measure of prosperity, is home ownership. And in California, the majority of residents are renters. Did you hear me, folks? The majority of California residents are not homeowners. So when the housing prices go up, that's a terribly bad thing for the poor. Okay, and then people need housing subsidies, and then they go to the government, who has created this problem by being in collusion with the bankers who want to dump as much money as they can on us, the real estate companies, the investors, the landlords. This benefits all of them, so they collude. All these government agencies, at Section 8 and to other programs that help people that can't afford housing. So they're giving this money to the private bankers. The government is taking the money, they're collecting it through giving this rent subsidy to the landlords, and then that goes to the banks. Do you understand? So essentially, if you're paying your rent, you probably don't want to support these bankers, but you are, because your landlord likely borrowed what's called OPM, other people's money, and in this case, we're talking about the Federal Reserve's money. So you understand how fictitious this whole system is. It's built on a hill of sand. It's got to collapse. The sooner the better. But it's going to be very traumatic for a lot of people that are plugged into this establishment. It's going to come as a great shock when they realize that all this stuff that they trusted in, that they were invested in, that they had faith in, okay, from the Wall Street to the housing market to just buy in the party line, the big lie that somehow everything makes sense. It doesn't make any sense. It was invented by a gaggle of creeps, freaks, pedophile types, blood drinking, essentially monsters. A lot of them are Satan worshipers at the very top. They are haters of humanity. They hate the truth because they know it's the biggest threat to them carrying on, to them remaining status quo and staying in their positions of power at all costs. Don't care. In fact, they'd like a lot of humanity to die. They don't care how many. Not only do they not care, they want to cull the population. They want to reduce it dramatically because they don't like us using up their stuff. We're lower than cattle, these people, because we're a threat to them, much more so than the cattle. So the truth is a threat. Seize the truth. Now, I digress because I know we were talking about JFK and the silver notes, and this was competing currency. So you can understand how imperative it was for these evil rulers. Okay, they say the president is the most exalted of the United States, the most powerful country in the world. We expect that this is actually the real deal. This is where the buck stops with the president. It doesn't, because we see how they rule. If a president of the most powerful country in the world does what is not acceptable, intolerable to these people, they'll blow your brains out. This is what they will attempt to do. They will at least want to do it. They will be seething with hatred, with venom. They will detest you. They will despise you for telling these truths. But you've got to call your next door neighbor, your family, for everybody that's invested in this system. In some way, you've got to point out to them how they are supporting it just by going along with the line and going along to get along, paying their rent and saying, it's okay, landlord raised my rent, you know, and so more money goes to the banks, more pressure, my wages are stagnant or falling, harder and harder to find enough work to keep my head above water. You know, while all this is going on, it's the most absurd system in history. This is the most pernicious economic system in all of history. And the difference now between and other times in history is that it's far less, exponentially less excusable, because we are supposed to get an iota of understanding, of true knowledge, wisdom, education, of true progress, not for some, but for everybody. Let me go back to California having a majority of renters today. There's somebody said, I've heard it parroted before, that as goes California, so goes the rest of the country. So the rest of the nation has that same thing to look forward to. More houses being stolen by the bankers and going to investment people like Nancy Pelosi's husband in San Francisco, and just your next door neighbor that's a landlord. So that's what it's going to benefit them. They'll be owning more homes, but fewer people will own. So the percentage of homeowners is going to be reduced until you have less than half the country is going to own their own home and have any sense of prosperity. And then as goes America, we're going to set a trend for the rest of the world. So this whole thing is going around the world because America being the most powerful country, however, the world reserve currency, our diseases, our economic diseases are spreading everywhere, as we all well know. You hear in the news all the time, even the mainstream media can't keep from reporting all these problems, all these protests all over the world. It's all about oppression. It's all about people seeing their cost of living going up and their wages aren't. There's not more available work even. So even if they're willing to work more hours, they can't. So in essence, you're put between a rock and a hard spot, like beating the slaves for no good reason. Not because they haven't done an exemplary job, because labor has, but for no good reason. Just bringing on austerity because they're mean, because they don't care. They want people to kill themselves from financial desperation, which happens all the time. They want people dying out on the streets, killed from the elements, the thugs, predation. They like this, okay? This is what they're trying to do. They're just a mean bunch of psychopaths at the top. So people that buy into this system, remember the people that you're teamed up with. Remember what a bunch of sicko perverts these people are. Mean, ruthless killers, okay? That's what they are. Understand that, that's who's running the world. And any Christians out there, you try to debate that point with me. Jesus has not returned yet. So, in essence, the spirit of evil, the spirit of Satan, all these people that are buying into this system are all on the same team. And they're in for a terrible awakening, and I'm trying to be their best friend and warn them. Guys like Alex Jones out there are trying to do the same thing. And there's plenty of preachers out there, decent preachers out there trying to do the same thing. Okay, there's a lot of decent there that are trying to do the same thing I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get people to understand the gravity of the situation, and that how we all have to seize the understanding. Okay, there is great hope. Good is coming, but we're going to go through something very traumatic that's really going to shake up humanity. Some people will say it's going to be in the form of a nuclear war. I don't believe that. But it's going to be serious. It's going to be some huge catastrophe. Is going to be some earth-shaking event is going to shake up the entire planet, the peoples thereof. So we're all going to have a time where, you know, things that people like myself are saying to you is going to come true before it gets better. Because what's happening is a critical mass of knowledge is happening as I speak in the form of truth. This is called the light, enlightenment of truth. This is like the Spirit of God is coming upon the earth, and nothing can stop it, no matter how much the evil people that have been ruling this world, the same element for thousands of years, because they hand it off to their deranged children. You know, they get them to believe the way they do, that it's all okay to keep treating humanity in this way when you have the power to stop all this evil, to solve all the unsolvable problems just through having sound currency. Okay? You're going down. These people are going to hell. Okay? And you want to distance yourself as much as you can, as soon as you can. Cultivate the kingdom of heaven is in your heart. Every one of us has the ability to imagine a perfect world. Let's ask ourselves, what role will money play in a perfect world? Okay? Little to none, I guess. Because if money gives one person an advantage, which causes another person to have a disadvantage, it's no good for nothing. In order to have a 100% voluntary-based reality, okay, just the same as every other creature, unless you're born into a zoo or as a ranch animal, livestock, okay, you're born free. And human beings, being made in image and likeness, certainly, if any creature has a right to be free, it's us. So understand your demands are right and just, and if you don't do anything, you're complicit. Your silence speaks volumes, okay, that you're going along with this system, that you really are like a closet establishmentarian. So don't think that you're going to avoid being judged. Your own conscience is going to judge you. You're buying your own ticket to hell by being indifferent or complacent about this issue. This is a very, very serious issue that we all need to take very, very serious, because it goes back to what Jesus taught. The love of money is the root of all evil. Jesus didn't say the love of money is the root of some of the evil. No, 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 no. It's all the evil. Okay? All the evil. This is it. Focus. How would sound currency help with the illegal immigration issue here in America? Well, if you don't really care, if people want to come in here and take your job and you're prosperous, you really don't care. If it means that you have to work less hours, okay, and your money is worth even more because of their contribution, believe me, you're going to embrace all the immigration you can. But what's going to happen is that it's going to spread, okay, into other countries. Okay, our neighbor to the south in Mexico, it's going to spread to Mexico. It's going to spread to India and China. Right now, these psychos running things, they're trying to create some kind of a mutant hybrid state between the worst of India, the caste system, and the worst of Mexico with its oligarchy, elitist, hypocritical rulers, and the poverty-stricken peasants that are everywhere. And then China, these poor people, oppressed people under this totalitarian, authoritarian, psychopathic regime that's aborting women's babies, forcing them to have abortions, 5,000 executions a year, mobile execution vans. Remember, folks, you want to go the opposite direction, okay? We don't want to be in debt to a country like China, okay? And who has done that? These same people that tell us we have a national debt while they're walking around with billions and if not trillions of dollars, okay? They're the